Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. The little fairy doctor watched as the fat man fled into the distance. She let out a slight smile. Her body moved and appeared beside Xiao Yan. She lowered her head to look at the enormous body of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast on the ground. Settled? Xiao Yan grinned and nodded. He immediately sighed in relief. This sky-poison dragon scorpion beast was indeed extremely difficult to deal with. If he did not have the earth demon puppet and Tian Huazunja, it would have been very difficult to kill this big fellow with his strength unless he used the angry Buddha lotus flame. Let's swiftly take the items we need. The commotion this battle created is too large. It is unavoidable for it to attract the attention of the other fierce magical beasts in the fallen god stream. If we are careless, we might end up with another fierce battle, the little fairy doctor whispered. The poison beings in this fallen god stream were extremely ferocious. Any that possessed some strength were definitely extraordinary. Xiao Yang nodded in agreement. His hand grabbed toward the body of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast. A suction force surged out and slowly lifted it until it was suspended in the air. Xiao Yang glanced at the large corpse in front of him. His face appeared a little solemn. The seal formed by his hands changed and the enormous jade-green firewolf burst apart, transforming into a fierce flame that swept over the body of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast. Its frighteningly high temperature spread, and a distortion appeared in the surrounding space. Amid the burning of the glazed lotus heart flame, the enormous corpse of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast swiftly shrank. Its skin, shell, and flesh slowly turned white under the high temperature. Finally, they transformed into ashes and scattered down. Xiao Yang's expression did not change as watched the corpse that was swiftly shrinking while ashes scattered. Instead, he increased the temperature. What he needed was the essence blood of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast. This kind of essence blood would only appear after undergoing refinement and lots of burning. Under this high temperature, the fresh blood on the surface of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast was swiftly vaporized. The blood vessels at those injuries also turned pale white. The body of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast diminished as the glazed lotus heart flame's temperature continued to rise. In the end, it was only 5 feet in size. At this moment, the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast had turned into a blood-colored ball of meat, rotating within the jade-green flame. Xiao Yang controlled the flame's temperature. A moment later, he flicked his finger and the blood-colored ball of meat immediately cracked, forming a fissures in its body. Half a fist large blood-colored crystal rushed out and headed toward Xiao Yang. With a grabbing motion, Xiao Yang caught this fresh blood-like crystal in his hand. He sensed the vast and mighty energy within it and a pleased expression involuntarily flashed across his eyes. He had finally obtained the monster core of this rank 7 sky-poison dragon scorpion beast. Xiao Yang's hand slowly rubbed the crystal core in a gentle manner before he carefully stored it in his storage ring. He raised his eyes, and they paused on the blood-colored flesh in the flame. There was still the powerful essence blood of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast within. After gently clenching his hand, the jade-green flame that lingered outside of the blood-colored ball of meat began to rapidly spin. A terrifying tearing force, ungoverned by any rules, swiftly formed within it. After which, it ruthlessly squeezed the ball of blood-colored meat. The blood-colored ball of meat trembled intensely as the flame wildly spun. It repeatedly rotated left and right. In the face of such a rotation, droplets of somewhat purplish-colored blood were slowly revealed from within the meat. A pleased look appeared on the corner of Xiao Yang's mouth when he saw this scene. He maintained this kind of tearing force and gradually squeezed out the pure essence blood within that cluster of meat. With an increasing amount of essence blood dripping down, the blood-red ball of meat gradually turned a pale white color. A dense poison fog lingered in the air of a small valley in the northern region of the fallen god stream. This fog made it difficult for one to clearly see the interior of the valley. If one looked from a closer spot, one would coincidentally see a couple of figures standing in it. They were Xiao Yang's group, which had just obtained the monster core and the essence blood of the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast. Based on what Xinlan has said, the Ice River Valley's experts should have already entered the fallen god stream. Perhaps they will find us quite soon. A bonfire was burning within the valley, emitting some light from the flame as Xiao Yan voiced his thoughts. Yes. Moreover, there is an existence at the peak of the Dozone class among those who arrived this time around. Xinlan nodded. Her face was grave. The peak of the Dozone class, a strength was even greater than that of the Sky Poison Dragon Scorpion Beast. Although Xiao Yan currently had 2 8-star Dozone beings around him, it was likely very hard for them to obtain the upper hand in such a fight. After all, the peak of the Dozone class was the strongest among the experts below the Dozone class. The little fairy doctor and Tian Huazunja by the side also nodded. They had a good understanding of this level. Even with Tian Huazunja's pride, he had no choice but to admit that it was extremely difficult for him to fight an expert at the peak of the Dozone class in his current condition. Hence, we must settle the body of old Mr. Yao or the woeful poisoned body of the little fairy doctor before they find us. Otherwise, it is likely that the situation will not be favorable. Xiao Yang spoke with a serious tone. The little fairy doctor and Tian Huazunja nodded when they heard this. In this current situation, the strength of either of them would soar if they could settle their respective problems. Thus, they would have the ability to fight even when faced with an expert at the peak of the Dozone class from the Ice River Valley. You should help old Mr. Yao refine a body first. He was an elite Dozan in the past. Even though he might not be able to quickly recover his peak strength after he obtains a body, it should not be difficult for him to advance to the Dozan class. This woeful poisoned body of mine has never been completely controlled by anyone in the past. We are not certain what will happen after it is controlled. Therefore, I suggest that old Mr. Yao should have the priority. The little fairy doctor mused for a moment before she gave a serious suggestion. Xiao Yan revealed an expression of deep thought after hearing the little fairy doctor's analysis. Helping Tian Huazunja first was indeed the safest bet. The woeful poisoned body is a unique natural body. When it erupts, even an elite Dozan must temporarily hide from it. If you are able to control it, it is likely that your achievements will be extremely shocking. Tian Huazunja fondled his beard as he slowly spoke. Old Mr. Yao has praised me too much. The little fairy doctor curled her lips and smiled. The little fairy doctor is right. I will help old Mr. Yao refine a body first in order to resolve the current threat. Xiao Yang nodded and finally made his decision. He continued in a deep voice, in that case, I will first resolve old Mr. Yao's problem. I will now begin refining the yin-yang life soul pill. All of you must guard me during this period of time and should avoid leaving this place so you don't attract any trouble. Xiao Yang ceased hesitating after making up his mind. He immediately began preparing after saying he would do it. His body moved and appeared on an enormous rock in the valley. With a wave of his hand, the 10,000 beast cauldron appeared and remained steadily suspended in the air. This kind of pale whiteness was a kind of lifeless color. The essence blood was the source of a magical beast's life. Once the essence blood was drained, it indicated that its life had also vanished. The pale white color gradually spread from the high-speed rotation of the flame. Around 10 minutes later, the last trace of blood coloring finally faded quietly from the ball of meat. The moment the last thread of blood color gradually disappeared, the ball of meat violently trembled and collapsed, transforming into pale white ashes that scattered down. Xiao Yang sighed in relief as he watched the ball of meat collapse and burst apart. His gaze landed on the flame. There was a cluster of purple-red liquid blood the size of a fist there. Despite being a great distance away, Xiao Yang was able to sense the powerful energy that was spreading from this liquid blood. Store it quickly. This kind of essence blood possesses a potent allure to other magical beasts, the little fairy doctor hurriedly reminded while sighing in relief after seeing the essence blood successfully refined by Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang smiled and nodded. He beckoned with his finger and the purple-red liquid blood flew out. After which, he took out a jade bottle and carefully stored the blood into it. Old Mr. Yao, this is the essence blood required to help refine your body. You will once again be able to use a physical body soon. Xiao Yan waved the jade bottle in his hand toward Tian Huazunja by the side as he spoke with a smile. A hearty smile involuntarily surfaced on Tian Huazunja's face when he heard this. He nodded in relief. It had been so many years. He was finally going to possess a body again. At the same time, he would once again sense the comfort of having Do Chi flow within his body. Little fellow, the old me is really right about you. This favor, the old me will not forget it for the rest of my life. Qian Huazunja's illusionary hand patted Xiao Yan's shoulders. Even with his calmness, he still felt somewhat excited in his heart. Back then, he had placed his hopes in Xiao Yan in his desperate state because he had no other choice. However, he was quite pleased with the final result. Xiao Yan slightly smiled as he sincerely said, "Old Mr. Yao has been a great help to me. If I do not put in all my effort, would I not be considered an inhumane and unjust person?" Qian Huazunja fondled his beard and let out a heartfelt sigh. "I really envy your teacher for having such an outstanding disciple." Xiao Yang softly laughed, but did not add anything to this topic. His eyes swept around him. Due to the death of the sky-poisoned dragon scorpion beast, this region had become dead quiet. There was not the least bit of unusual sound. "Let's go. We should leave this place first. The commotion we caused was too great. It is likely that someone will come and investigate. It is best that we leave first." The little fairy doctor softly suggested. "All right." Xiao Yang smiled and nodded. He rubbed his storage ring and laughed. "Since we have obtained everything, we will proceed to the most important step next." Xiao Yang waved his hand after speaking. He took the lead and turned around. After which, he hurriedly rushed to the north. The little fairy doctor brought Xinlan along and followed close behind him. This region once again fell silent after Xiao Yang's group left. Only the enormous pit in the ground represented the soul-stirring fight that had erupted at this spot earlier. Xiao Yang's eyes were opened a moment later. He gently inhaled a breath of air and moved his finger. An extremely bright and beautiful flower rushed down. However, strangely there was a person's face at the center of the flower. Its eyes, nose and mouth were all lifelike. Looking at it gave one the creeps. Ghost face flower. The name of this flower flashed across Xiao Yang's heart. This was one of the key ingredients in refining the yin-yang life-soul pill. It was extremely rare. Xiao Yang did not know just where Xinlan had obtained it from. However, it seemed that she had put in a lot of effort to gather the ingredients. Xiao Yang glanced at this flower that gave one the creeps. He flicked his finger and the ghost face flower was thrown into the medicinal cauldron. The jade-green flame swept over and wrapped around it. The ghost face flower had just been tossed into the flame when waves of black vapor were emitted from it. At the same time, a screeching baby cry was reverberated from the medicinal cauldron. Xiao Yang knit his brows. He did not expect this ghost face flower to be this strange. However, regardless of how strange it was powerless to resist a heavenly flame. A thought passed through Xiao Yang's mind and Do Chi covered both of his ears, isolating the baby's cry as it did so. He clenched his hand and the flame's temperature suddenly soared. With a great increase in the flame's temperature, the black vapor emitted from the interior of the ghost face flower swiftly became fainter. In the end, it completely disappeared. Having lost the protection of the black vapor, the ghost face flower immediately withered. The human face also gradually disappeared. Around 10 minutes later, the flower finally burst apart and turned into a pile of dark black powder. Xiao Yang did not immediately withdraw the flame after the powder appeared. Instead, he grilled this pile of powder for some time until it revealed a cold luster. Only then did a thought pass through his mind. The cluster of flames wrapped around the dark black powder and left it suspended in one corner of the medicinal cauldron. Xiao Yang took a fist-sized red-colored fruit after having completed refining this ghost face flower. Wave after wave of dense, cold air poured out of the fruit. Soul revival demon fruit. This strange fruit is really beneficial to the training of spiritual strength. It is likely that I need to prepare a little more of it in the future for any unexpected situations. Xiao Yang's eyes swept over that red-colored fruit. He flicked his finger and threw it into the medicinal cauldron. Time swiftly flowed by while Xiao Yan undertook a retreat to refine this pill. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. The area to the south of the fallen god stream, where the sky-poisoned dragon scorpion beast resided back then, was completely quiet due to the sky-poisoned dragon scorpion beast having been finished off by Xiao Yang's group. At this moment, it was completely quiet. It was no longer covered in a poison vapor like it had been back then. The enormous rock fortress appeared exceptionally empty. It no longer possessed the domineering aura that existed when the sky-poison dragon scorpion beast was residing in it. Waves of rushing wind sounds appeared 1,000 meters from the rock fortress. A moment later, many white figures appeared on the flat land outside of the rock fortress. Old Shi, the energy ripple that we sensed 2 days ago should have originated from this place. An elder's gaze swept around the rock fortress before he respectfully spoke to that old man at the side, who was holding a snake walking stick. There is no longer any aura in this place. The old man who was addressed as Old Shi paused his eyes on the rock fortress as he faintly commented, from what I know, this should be the Sky Scorpion region. It is managed by a sky poison dragon scorpion beast that has reached the strength of an 8-star zone. However, from the looks of it now, another old man frowned and revealed what he knew. Sky poison dragon scorpion beast. Old Shi narrowed his eyes and slowly said, this place has the remnant aura of a corpse. If I have guessed correctly, that fellow should have been finished off. What? That fellow possessed the strength of an 8-star zone. Even in this fallen god stream, it is one of the few such existences. Who is able to kill it? The remaining people exclaimed after hearing this. Other than the corpse aura, there are traces on the ground that show that it has been grilled at high temperature. Clearly, it is someone who possesses a great control of fire. From the remnant souls of the Ice River Valley's disciples back then, I discovered that there is a young man among them who controls a kind of extremely powerful flame. If I have guessed correctly, this should have been done by that group. Old Shi grabbed some grass and gently pinched the blades. The grass turned into dust when he did so. Done by that group? They are this strong? The expressions of the remaining 3 white-clothed elders changed. That was an 8-star zone. They were able to easily kill Bing Fu and the 2 others. What is there to be surprised about them being able to fight with an 8-star zone? Old Shi faintly smiled. He slowly stood up and turned his eyes to the north of the fallen god stream. His shriveled face revealed a strange smile. However, the air still possesses the remnant aura of the sky poison dragon scorpion beast. It is likely they took its monster core. We should be able to find them if we follow this aura. Old Shi is wise. The 3 white-clothed old man rejoiced and respectfully praised him when they heard his words. Old Shi randomly waved his hand. He gripped the snake walking stick and slowly walked to the north of the fallen god stream. A faint laugh was slowly being emitted from him. The old me is really becoming curious about this group of people. Not only have they housed the poison lady, but they have also come here to kill this sky poison dragon scorpion beast for no reason. Ha ha, not bad. The 3 old men behind faced each other. They immediately let out cold laughs. They really did not know whether it was those fellows' misfortune or honor that stirred the interest of Old Shi. Those who offend the Ice River Valley will not come to a good end. What pitiful individuals. Xin Lan looked at the focused human figure on the enormous rock, sighed softly, and commented, a tier 7 medicinal pill is not easy to refine. Naturally, one must spend some time. The little fairy doctor was not surprised. She softly said, moreover, the pill chi within the medicinal cauldron is becoming denser. It is likely that it will not be long until the pill is formed. Xin Lan nodded when she heard the little fairy doctor's explanation. She was just about to speak when the medicinal cauldron, a short distance away, suddenly shook. A clear buzzing sound rippled from it and reverberated over the valley. What is it? This unexpected change caused the little fairy doctor and the others to hurriedly throw their gazes over. An unusually dense pill chi suddenly spat out from the medicinal cauldron like a volcano after it emitted a buzzing sound. One could vaguely see the origin of the pill chi seemed to be from a round medicinal pill wrapped in a jade-green flame. Is it about to form a pill? The little fairy doctor felt joyful when she sensed the density of this pill chi. In front of the focus of the little fairy doctor's group, the pill chi being spat out from the medicinal cauldron became denser. In the end, almost the entire valley was permeated by this pill fragrance that braced one's attention. Clearly, this was an indication that a pill was about to be formed. Although the Yin-Yang Life Soul pill was at the Tier 7 middle grade level, it was not very difficult to refine. Additionally, with the experience of having aided Tangshan in refining the Fire Bodhisattva pill, the refinement this time around was unexpectedly smooth. Everything seemed to progress naturally and not even the slightest mistake appeared along the way. Xiao Yan slowly opened his narrowed eyes while the pill chi spewed forth. He looked at this scene and a pleased expression surfaced on his face. The spewing pill chi became fiercer. In the end, it broke through the layer of poison fog in the sky. Having been summoned by this dense pill chi, dark clouds swiftly began to gather in the sky. Part 1 end here.